Who had better teammates, Chris Paul or Isaiah Thomas?
Isaiah Thomas.
I mean, Mark
Chris Paul has played with damn near every superstar in the league.
Mark Aguirre.
better?
Chris Paul played with every superstar.
He's played with so many. He was playing with super teams before the Warriors. Even.
Wait, time out.
Hold on.
What? These are the same. Wait.
Remember when he had Jamal Crawford?
No way, Jamal Crawford. No way.
Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, bro. Like,
he ain't even played a second with KD.
He ain't played a second with KD. Y'all talking about older Chris Paul? And the only real superstar that he played with in his relative prime is James Harden. That's it.
That's better than Joe Dumars.
That's better than Joe Dumars.
But overall team,
better than Joe
Dumars. Blake Griffin was not a superstar. Overall,
we only saying that because the
better than Bill Laimbeer,
bro. Overall,
the only reason you have Isaiah Thomas over Chris Paul is because he won.
Blake Griffin is better than Bill Laimbeer.
Like, he's not. I genuinely believe.
He clears Chris Paul as a scorer, bro. What are you talking about?
No, he does not. Isaiah Thomas is one of Isaiah Thomas was great at getting to the rim. His outside shot wasn't there. He had no.
I want Leaf to explain. No, I'm not saying that anything that you're saying is not true. But Leaf, tell me how is Isaiah Thomas a better scorer than?
How does we talking
no how? Just tell me about their game. What makes them a better scorer?
We talking about a player that in the 80s.
What makes CP3 better?
I want Leaf to answer the question. No, I want Leaf to answer the question.
We talking about a player in the 80s.
What about his game? What about his game makes him a better scorer?
Him being able to get the dribble, penetrate, and get to any spot on the court, bro. Like we seen that against some of the best teams, bro. Like some of the best teams in the 80s, bro. Like Boston, the Lakers, playing the Bulls in their prime. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we saying here, bro?
You're naming teams.
Beating the Bulls.
He struggled them though. He struggled against some of those teams to get to his spot to score, like the Bulls. He used to struggle against those teams.
We talking about somebody that had one of the hardest routes to championship.
Like I said, this is the championship argument. It's not because you think he's better. It's because he won. It's because he won.
Why is this? I don't understand why this is not obvious.
Because Leaf. All I want you to say is the reason he's higher is because of the championships, and I'm fine. That's all I need to hear you say.
I think he's better at basketball than Chris Paul.
How is Chris Paul a better scorer than Isaiah Thomas?
How's Chris Paul?
Where do y'all get that from?
Yeah, I don't get it.
He clears him as a shooter. Not even close.
In terms of what efficiency? That's
mid-range.
He takes more. He makes more. He's better from free. He's better from mid-range. He's better off the ball spotting up. He's better off the ball spotting up. Isaiah Thomas has better rim pressure, and you could say he's a better finisher, and I wouldn't argue with you. That's not enough to say he's a better scorer, especially if you start looking at the volume of scoring. Chris Paul, for the most part, had better volume as well. So he's not that scoring of getting
to playing in that time period. Isaiah Thomas fit
relative to that time period.
No,
relative to that time.
Even if you say relative, it's still Chris Paul.
But how is Chris Paul?
It's still Isaiah.
You talking about the efficiency.
How's he more of a volume shooter than Isaiah?
Man, he took the Pistons one better than the Lakers.
You saying
the Pistons better than the Lakers?
Talking about efficiency, low, bro.
Isaiah Thomas. Wait, this is the other part. You saying the Pistons better than the Lakers?
Was they better than the Lakers?
No, I'm about to answer it. No, but when Magic Johnson is hurt, yes, they are.
But guess what? Why do they win?
Because Magic Johnson was hurt.
But who is the catalyst of winning the whole thing?
Because Magic Johnson was hurt.
Who they beat to
get to the Lakers?
Celtics.
Yeah.
They beat the Celtics.
Was the Celtics better than the Pistons?
You want to talk about the 89 Celtics? You want to talk about the 89 Celtics?
When Larry Bird is hurt, yes, they are better. When Larry Bird is hurt, yes.
But they only got Isaiah. Why is that?
They don't only have Isaiah. That's the issue. They don't only have Isaiah.
The rest of them was regular, man.
No, they were not. Stop.
Man, listen, y'all overrated.
No, they were not.
Y'all overrated.
Bro, I'm about to put my cam on.
Lowe's throwing his hands up right now.
You're lying. You're lying.
How is that a lie? How is that a lie?
Here's the thing. I have no problem if everyone just wants to say they only have him over because of rings. That's it. Because you can't. He's not better.
You said he's more of a volume shooter. And
I'm trying to understand how Chris Paul is in anybody's top
two years of his career, bro. Chris Paul has only averaged over 20 points.
It has to be
Do you understand what pace is? Do you understand how pace works?
This has to be efficiencies talking, bro. Like, there's no way.
I mean, yes, Chris Paul is clearly more efficient than Isaiah Thomas.
This shit is pissing me off, Leaf. I'm about to fucking strangle you, Mickey. God damn.
Yeah, Leaf, I'm not gonna lie. Leaf, I'm gonna be totally honest. If we're talking about someone's ability to score the basketball and you don't want to mention efficiency, you don't want to have a conversation. That has to be brought up. Whether you like it or not, efficiency has to be mentioned.
Why does that?
And that wasn't even the crux of my argument. I said he was a better shooter. I said he was better from mid-range. I said he was better off the ball. I said Isaiah Thomas was better at getting to the rim. Before I even brought up efficiency. Efficiency has to be a part.
Leaf, I told you this last night. I said we all actually look at efficiency. We just don't use true shooting.
So
we look at the high volume shooters, and we understand that the high volume shooters, of course, when they're making more than they're missing, we sit here and recognize, yeah, these guys are getting buckets. They're getting to the spots and hitting at a high clip and hitting more times than they're missing. That's efficiency, Leaf. We measure.
No, I know what it is, man. But if we just harping that. But why these players?
It's not efficiency. Let me ask you this.
If you didn't hear everything else I said, and you only heard me, I didn't even say that wasn't even something I said.
Say efficiency.
I didn't even say it.
If it's all about efficiency,
let Lo explain it. Go ahead.
What was there to explain? Okay, well.
No.
Leaf, let me ask you this. Why is Kevin Durant a better scorer than Carmelo Anthony?
He better than Kobe.
Why? But
right?
Why?
I'm saying Kevin Durant, he better than Kobe, right?
But why?
Better player, right?
No. Why is he?
I mean, that's what. He a better player.
He's a better.
I'm asking y'all. Why is KD a better scorer than Carmelo?
More efficient.
Because Kobe. Because of the.
In your opinions, it's Carmelo Anthony. Why is he a better scorer? Why is KD a better scorer than Carmelo Anthony? Why?
In terms of efficiency, he is, man.
Why is he a better scorer? Because who do you think is a better scorer?
You asked me what I think. I'm answering, bro. Let me answer, bro.
Because of efficiency.
Listen. Is he not more efficient than Melo?
Leaf, who do you personally think is better? Who do you personally think is better scorer? Kevin Durant or Carmelo Anthony?
Anything, D.
I think Kevin Durant is
making a point.
Why?
I think Kevin Durant is a better scorer because of volume, efficiency, more scoring titles, everything.
So efficiency matters, correct?
Listen, in terms of one area, yeah.
So when a guy who's producing at the same level is higher efficiency, why isn't he a better scorer?
But it differs, bro, from eras, bro. Like
they played at a fast. Wait, time out. Because they played at a.
The efficiency is relative.
Please.
The efficiency is relative to the era, though. So I don't get what you're talking about.
I understand that, but I didn't mention nothing about the pace. I don't even know what that shit is, bro.
No, I never said nothing about pace. Dub said that. I'm saying the efficiency is relative to the era. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, bro. Like I don't even know what pace is, bro. Like every
how many possessions there are in the game. That's pace.
Fine. Okay. All right. Listen. Everything.
I just know IT gonna be over him in 90% of consensus.
Yeah, because of the rings, and I don't have a problem with that. I just need people to admit that's the reason.
Well, win one.
But you gotta think about it. Though.
All I'm saying is, if you have Zeke over Chris Paul,
get you some.
Just tell me it's because of the rings. That's all I'm saying. I have no problem with people who have Zeke over Chris Paul. I have a problem when you try and act like it's not because of the rings, because it is. It's clearly because of the rings.
I say that.
Hold on, my
boy. That's why my issue. That's why my issue isn't with you.
Let him.
Leaf is saying he's better than him at basketball. That's not true.
Okay, so you have him over Isaiah Thomas because of
because of longevity, because of the fact that Chris Paul's a better passer, he's a better playmaker, he's a better defender, he's a better scorer. Like he peaked higher than him too. I don't know what you want me to say. He's better than him.
So if he's better at everything and he's had better teams,
played back then, he would have been a miniature. He would have been.
Oh well, he didn't play back then. So what you want me to do about that? Well, he didn't.
Exactly.
Because the thing is, you eliminated the rings. You eliminated the rings.
I've never judged anyone with rings, so why would I start doing it now? My whole list has no rings involved. So you asking me to count rings for Isaiah Thomas and Chris Paul would be inconsistent.
All right, so you're just talking players without the championship.
Yes, I'm talking about how good you are at the game of basketball. Yes, that's what I've
Can we ever agree that Chris Paul's a choke artist?
Not really. That's not true.
So out of 18 years, he's been in a bad team maybe 4 years.
Yeah, probably.
He's had star teammates pretty much his whole career. How come he has not ever been able to get it done out of those 15 years?
A lot of times it happened because of injury. A lot of times the team was just better. I keep talking about when he lost in 2021 against the Milwaukee Bucks. He actually performed at a very high level. The issue was they weren't able to stop anybody on the other side, which is why they lost. To me, in my opinion, that's not somebody choking.
Let's go back to 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. He couldn't even get to the finals. He was
okay. A lot of times he lost.
What year was
he lost to the better team a lot of those times.
He was losing to he was losing to the Spurs. I remember I used to pick the Clippers to win every year. And they used to always lose to some old ass Spurs teams, or they would lose to the young ass OKC team. They would never get it done. They had Josh Smith on the team back then that was going crazy. They had Jamal Crawford. They had all kinds of players. They had, of course, Lob City. You feel me? DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin. They had all kinds of players. Eric Bledsoe at one point. They've had so many players.
How many times did they lose? How many times? Hold on. How many times did they lose because of CP3? Because the Spurs, I'll give you that. They lost that because of the Spurs. OKC, even though that little moment in the fourth quarter that everyone keeps harping on happened, CP3 did not play bad in that series as well. So a lot of these times they're not losing because
and he hit the floater to win the series before.
He hit a floater against the Spurs, yes. A lot of times they're not losing because of CP3. A lot of times they're losing because of one, either the offense, the guys on the offensive side is getting torched, like Dwight Howard against the Clippers in 2015. Dwight Howard was going crazy on them. That's DeAndre Jordan not doing his part. That's DeAndre Jordan not doing his part against the Memphis Grizzlies too. CP3 was performing at a high level too.
But I think hold him to the same.
Blake Griffin played terrible.
Do we not hold them to the same standard, I guess? Because if any other star that's a leader of their team loses, we hold it against them.
They don't hold it to the same standard because they just said Chris Paul.
Do I do that?
Because all I do is talk for myself, and I don't blame these.
So this year, if they don't get it done, it don't fall on Chris Paul.
So they got to win this.
No, it does not fall on Chris Paul. It falls on whoever underperforms.
This is the issue I have with people. We don't hold, like, y'all hold these people to these ridiculous standards that I don't ever agree with. I don't agree to these standards that you guys hold them
to the same
standard
that you do.
We tell you our takes, and then you want us to hold them to the same standards that y'all hold them to.
Okay. Let me say this.
For example, Magic Johnson losing to the Detroit Pistons in '89. Nobody holds that against him. Why? Because they were hurt. The Boston Celtics lost in '89 as well. They don't hold Larry Bird to that standard. Why? Because they were hurt.
Okay, well, let me say this.
But now when Blake Griffin and Chris Paul get hurt, it's a problem. Okay.
In one of those
2016,
games,
Chris Paul has a broken hand. You expect him to just be able to.
2016. We talking about before the Warriors were even the Warriors. We talking about
if you do your due diligence and you look at every single year, players get hurt.
6 years.
That's a fact.
6 years. Every player got hurt. Some players got hurt.
I think there's like maybe 2 years where Chris Paul's team weren't hurt. Maybe
if you do your due diligence and go back and look, almost every single year.
What about the years that? What about the years that he
make you a top player?
Okay, well let's say this. I wanted to say this. When they played the Bucks in the finals, there was a game. There was a pivotal game. I think it was maybe game 4. It was a pivotal game where it was like. It was winnable for them in the last couple of minutes.
Without a doubt.
And Chris Paul he threw some turnovers. Is that not choking?
He had a bad game in a bad moment.
Bad quarter. It wasn't a bad game. It was bad he choked.
I'm telling you, it's the whole game. He choked the whole game. Great. Isaiah Thomas has those. Isaiah Thomas has that. Isaiah Thomas literally threw the ball away. He literally threw it away.
Yep.
He literally gave it to the other team. Right?
He redeemed himself, though.
Right? No. Right? Did he do that?
But Isaiah Thomas beat Jordan.
That's a
How
fact.
many times?
No, he beat Jordan. He beat Jordan because he had a better team than Jordan. That's why.
But he redeemed himself, though.
He beat Jordan, went out there, was trash in those games. If you go back and you watch those series, Isaiah Thomas struggled the most against the Chicago Bulls.
I don't care about that.
His team was just better. He had a better team.
We seen CP struggle. So
someone said
we
to
ain't
Chris
talking about that. We talking about in the end, he never made up. He got KD now. So if CP don't win the championship right now, he done.
And y'all are holding a 38-year-old Chris Paul to the same standard that y'all hold.
It's 3.5 turnovers a lot. It's 3.5 turnovers a lot. Low, it's 3.5 turnovers a lot.
Wait, say it again.
It's 3.5 turnovers a lot.
I guess it depends on the context, but that's it sounds.
But
like
if you average 3.5 turnovers in the finals, that's not considered. He don't get nothing for that. He still played good series.
Who? Chris Paul?
Yeah, I don't blame. I don't really.
Chris Paul, and I'm glad you brought that up because I literally rewatched.
He really got to hold the ball.
I've started rewatching that series because a lot of people that like having revisionist history. Chris Paul was balling the fuck out against that fucking Bucks team.
Yeah,
Chris Paul was giving buckets, shooting mid ranges over top of Giannis Antetokounmpo, shooting buckets over Drew fucking Holiday too. The myth that Drew Holiday was just fucking locking him up damn near every game, that's not true. Because in game 2, he was torching that out though.
Bro, in game 2 he had 23 points. In game 2 he had 23 points.
Torching Drew Holiday.
He had 23 points.
And then wait, let me finish. Then on top of getting his buckets, he's also creating opportunities for other guys to get off in the pick and roll acts and drawing attention to himself to get guys wide open looks as well. And that's a part of his
man. He had a great game in one game, and that was game 1
from games 1 to 4.
That's
game 1. That was the only. Bro, he had 32 in game 1. He never scored 30 in another game.
Now you're just staring at the box score.
You sound stupid, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about.
Chris Paul had one bad game.
To say he had one good game is stupid.
I said he had one great game. Dub just said he balled the fuck out in game 2. He had 23 points in game 2 and had 6 turnovers in game 2, and only 8 assists. So I don't know what game you was watching, but he wasn't doing nothing in that game.
You're not.
You're not talking about watching the game. You're talking about
you are. You talking about looking at the box score. You talking about
why you don't know what game he was watching.
I watched the game too. Everybody in the panel watched that series.
He had.
So tell me about those turnovers.
Man, stop, bro.
Tell me about those turnovers.
You said what?
Tell me about those turnovers.
Bro, all right, let me can I say this real quick? Because y'all, the thing that's problematic about this is because y'all, it just sounds like y'all are not familiar with the Detroit Pistons at that time. That was one of the most talented teams in the NBA. It was for a fact. It was for a fact. It was just one of the most talented teams in the NBA.
Because I know the team too.
It was
Mahorn and
Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Joe Dumars, Adrian Dantley. Then they switched Adrian Dantley for my other Mark Aguirre, Rick Mahorn, Dennis Rodman, and then we're talking Vinny Johnson coming off the bench. That was just one of the more talented teams in the NBA at that time. To undermine them just to get out some stupid point is crazy. And it was even crazy. And what's crazy and what's crazy but again, when they beat the Celtics in '89. When they beat them in '88, Bird was already dealing with bad back issues, bro.
What that got to do?
He was already, bro. So now, Bird is Bird.
Your narrative.
It's not a narrative. Bird was not 100%. That's not the same Larry Bird.
Already hurt.
Hey,
look at what did Bird average in '88?
In that series, he averaged less than 20. Less than 20. Oh my God!
What did he do? You can't. In that
series, he was dealing with a bad back throughout the
entire
playoffs.
Are you talking about 91? Are you talking about 1991?
No, 88.
That's my 88, where Larry Bird, everyone knows he had back problems. And that's why I don't even know if he played the next year.
Hey, bro,
he didn't play the next season. He did play the
average of 88.
But it's a narrative.
And by the time we got to the playoffs, especially in that series, Bird averaged less than 20 points, and he shot below 40% from the field in that series because he was dealing with a bad back.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.